It's time for On Point, where we speak to experts to delve deeper into some of the key issues in the spotlight right now. NASA, as reported, has delayed the launch of moon rocket Artemis I indefinitely due to technical problems. This was the second time in 5 days that the U.S. Space Agency has forced to call off the launch, with the agency saying it would be some time before it will be rescheduled. So now let's connect with Professor SHIN Dong-hyuk from the Department of Aerospace Engineering at KAIST to try to understand the reasons behind the delay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, the main problem with the rocket was a liquid hydrogen leak, according to reports. What does this mean, and why is it hard to prevent liquid hydrogen from leaking?
So they detect a large amount of hydrogen leak in a quick disconnect cavity. So the quick disconnect is a type of piping through which the fuel flows the rocket tank. The piping needs to be disconnected quickly during liftoff. So if you remember the last Nurio rocket launch, so as the rocket liftoff, umbilical cord are disconnected at the same time. So this is necessary because the propellant or liquid hydrogen is applied to the rocket until the last second. So as this is hydrogen, if large amount of propellant, liquid hydrogen leaks, it can cause fire or explosion. So NASA engineers said that the amount of leak is 3 times larger than their safety margin. So they tried 3 different options to fix the issue, but all failed. So they decided to scrap the launch. So far, Artemis, as you mentioned, it's been delayed two times already. And then they are mainly related to this hydrogen fuel line. So the first attempt was postponed because of the temperature sensor was malfunctioning and give wrong reading, wrong temperature reading. And the second attempt is due to this hydrogen leak. So hydrogen needs to stay at minus 250 degrees Celsius, which is very low temperature. And then such low temperature, sensors or hardwares may not behave as expected. So these are the main cause of the issues.
Right, and for a normal just space fan, it's obviously a lot to take in, but the bottom line is, it seems like there weren't another attempt at launching Artemis I for at least another few weeks. Do you think this issue is something that can be repaired within that time?
So it's difficult to tell at the moment because it's been only 1 day, and I'm sure the NASA engineers is working hard to fix the issue. So the launch window for this period expires on September 6th. So it seems like it won't happen by September 6th. The next launch window open on September 19th. So it seems the main task is to replace the soft good and the quick disconnect. But if it is not certain that the replacement will fix the issue. So otherwise it will take longer time. Also, the NASA engineer report that they will try to fix the leak on the launch pad so that they can test it under the cryogenic condition. Still, the rocket needs to go back to vehicle assembly building as it needs to satisfy a safety regulation. So we still have to wait for the development, but surely better safe than sorry.
That's right. Talking about the technology now, just last month, Danuri, South Korea's first lunar orbiter, was sent into space with the help of NASA and SpaceX. Now, it had a delay launch as well, but how would you compare the two missions? Is Artemis I technically that much more complicated than Danuri?
Yeah, actually, so the SLS will be a little bit more complicated. So the major difference comes from the types of fuel. So Danuri's carrier, Falcon 9, they use kerosene, and then this Artemis I's carrier called SLS uses liquid hydrogen. Kerosene is quite handy as it can stay in liquid state in room temperature, so they don't need any additional cooling. However, the hydrogen becomes liquid state, as I mentioned, at the temperature lower than minus 250 degrees Celsius. So you might wonder why SLS using this hydrogen for this disadvantage. It's because of high specific impulse value of hydrogen. Danuri weigh around 680 kilogram, but Orion Space, which Artemis I project aims to send to the moon, weigh 33 tons, which is 50 times larger than Danuri. So the rocket need much more powerful engine, and then in order to have a powerful engine, you need to use a hydrogen fuel. So that's some complexity which SLS has right now.
Right. Now, Artemis I is the first of several missions in the Artemis program, which include a future manned mission to the lunar surface. How do you think this will affect, or will the most recent setback affect the next stages of the program?
So I hope it doesn't delay the whole program that much. So because the issue encountered during the first and second launch are not the major issues. So they are mostly related to the pipelines. So in the first attempt, it's a sensor which can be replaced in the later launch. In the second attempt, the technical issue is about the piping, not the engine itself. So of course, the launch will be delayed by it will be delayed by a month or 2 months or so. But the next mission is planned in 2024, which is 2 years down the line. So I believe that this 1 month delay do not affect much the whole mission. So also, I'm very glad to see the Artemis project is active and going on, and then we can dream to visit the moon again. Also, the timeline is well aligned to Korean space tech development, and very happy that Korea can also contribute to the program by Danuri at this moment.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Professor. We hope to speak to you again, maybe once Artemis is launched.
Yeah, looking forward to that.